Hi, this is Aziz Khan with my today's headlines about news channels. We start with CNN. So, this George Floyd effect has reached Europe as well, and Europe is re-examining its colonial history. So, we all know that this colonial history is very cruel in some areas. Uh, but let's see. I mean, just by dunking some statues or removing statues is only one uh, apparent part of it. But as we can see, and we are seeing that basically this racism is in the blood of the people now. So this is something which needs to be corrected somehow. For example, we can see these some of the news is carrying Abdul Jabbar's son arrested for allegedly stabbing neighbor. So we know that Kareem Abdul Jabbar is also a bit vocal, and these kind of things needs to be more investigated before jumping to conclusion. Like for example, what has generally been done in cases of the crime of the white people, first they try to analyze all other options before jumping to any conclusion. So here as well, let's see how it is being handled, how people handle this. So Derek Chauvin is eligible for $1 million pension. So okay, let's see. I mean, a person who should be charged and who should feel some heat, he's been pacified by telling him that okay, even if we have to fire you, we will fire you with a $1 million in your pocket so that you can keep going with whatever you have in your mind. So these kind of things, I mean, Trump says really isn't scheduled for Juneteenth on purpose. So who knows? I mean, who knows it was on purpose, and when it backfired, and when some people they remembered, then now he's rescheduling it. So it doesn't feel that the other party is ready to um, let go of its racism past. I mean, like this woman caught on video harassing Asian American exercising in a park. So I mean, if you don't allow people to exercise, then how can you allow them for normal activities? I mean, this is this is something that needs to be corrected somehow or the other. So New York has banned chokeholds as a global demonstration against police brutality continues. So this is one of a good news. I mean, there should be reforms, there should be SOPs changes, there should be. I mean, the police should have been told that how exactly they should be doing whenever they are doing anything with the normal people. It should not be related to only black or whites. It should be a very simple message that police should not go beyond uh, some level. I mean, they should not do something which. Also, you see here a young black man was found hanging from a tree, and now they are saying that it was a suicide. I mean, so this also needs the community is demanding some answers. So it looks like that the white people they are not ready to go or not ready to let the supremacy go from their color. So let's see some other news. Australian sentenced to death in China for smuggling drugs. This is not a very simple news. I mean, we know that a few days ago Australia asked China to give some proof of how they handled this corona, and now they sentenced an Australian man for smuggling drugs. I mean, so this may be right and this may be wrong. I mean, this is how um, things are ployed sometimes. So this also needs to be taken a bit seriously because we know that China is also a very powerful country and they know how to deal with the sentiments of the governments. So Elon Musk's tunnel project hit a milestone. So he has he has put tunnels under a city, and as per one of his big projects, so the tunnel is now ready. Let's see how much good this tunnel will bring, and should it really help in fighting the traffic congestion of big cities. This also I found something good to be shared, that one of the guy, he did some research that why so many statues have broken noses. So he came to a very good conclusion that generally people who mutilate these kind of statues, they try to give a kind of message that, for example, we know that the nose is required to breathe. So if some statue loses his nose, so it means that he can no longer breathe and he's metaphorically he dies. Even though he's a statue, he don't breathe. But just to show them that, for example, if a statue has some specific powers, because their powers were known and the power was part of some power was attributed to some special part. For example, there is a statue who is the statue of some knowledge, or so his ears should be cut so that he cannot hear, so his knowledge power should be gone. So this man, he tried to make a kind of a relation between this mutilation and the known powers of these statues. So I found it a bit interesting that how people, they generally react to different things around the world. So even at that time, the people who react to these things, they reacted in a very elaborative way. That okay, if this statue was a statue of listening, so we cut his ears so he cannot listen anymore. So let's go to BBC. So Black Lives still matters up till now. So it's good. So the statue got dunked. So police reform is something that is more required. I mean, dunking the statue is not, like you see here, Canada indigenous chief better during arrest. So this is something which is, I mean, even if in Canada, if this is how Canada should be tackling things, we know that Canadians are much better in human handling of human and in this racism kind of thing. They are much better than their counterparts in US. But still, if Canada is handling people like in this way, then what can we say? I mean, the world need very big reforms for these kind of things. The couple who tortured one of their mates to death for releasing a parrot, they are now jailed, is a very good news. I mean, these kind of people, they should be dealt very seriously. I mean, these, I will not be any, I'll be very straight here that these both guys, they should be hanged till death because how they reacted is very much inhuman. If they are not human, then they should not be allowed to live with humans. They should go where they belong. So HBO removes Gone with the Wind because of its racial discrimination type of things, but I don't think this is the way. The film should stay. I mean, the film should stay, and it should be now taught with, or it should be aired with a user discretion, and they should tell that we did something wrong, and we should correct it now. The main thing is the correction of things, not the removal of things. So China is going fine. Egypt is recording a record of COVID-19, and China nightlife is coming back. Lot of rain also coming to China. But the bad news, even for China itself, and they have mentioned it here, is that Beijing's major wholesale market suspended after personnel surroundings test positive for COVID-19. So locally hit COVID has hit China's main city, Beijing. So this is very big news, and China should be now ready for a second coming of because it's coming everywhere. Because as I told many in these videos many times that we cannot very easily assume that it will go. We need to change the SOPs almost forever. I mean, we need to change how we do the things, and so even if China is getting some cases again, then we can simply very easily imagine that what should be happening in everywhere else. So part of Beijing is shut down. So Al Jazeera also mentioning the same news. Lebanon has a different problems. So even during these kind of pandemic, some people they find their normal things more like Lebanon, they are not going through corona, they are going through other issues. In Pakistan, hospitals struggling as coronavirus cases are exploding. No, but bad news is that the life-saving drugs prices are going skyrocketing, going very high. I don't know the people who are hoarding these things. I don't know. I mean, maybe they will never die or what. I mean, they are not considering that the plea of the people. I mean, if you will make something very costly, maybe something else will hit you, and then you will realize that you did not act in a better way. So Reuters is also having some news. So mayor urges people to avoid central London. Beijing also had some wartime emergency because of the new corona cases which have recently surfaced. Total cases still going up. US is still going up. Some things start feeling coming down, but a lot of areas are still Kentucky to remove statue of Confederate leader from Capitol. I mean, this is what we can say. I mean, this is Tulsa race massacre of 1921. So they still don't want to let the 1921 go away in 2020. I mean, it's 100 years now, and still they are handling things in the same way. Like Facebook fires employee who protested in action on Trump tweets. So Facebook also shows that still Facebook is also like a similar small company. I mean, when the real pressure came, then they have no other option than to fire the guy. So Canadian spy agency warned of shockwaves from arrest of Huawei founder's daughter. So you cannot very easily go against China. China is big, and they can hit you very hard. They can retaliate in a very in whatever manner they want. I mean, so it's not easy to fight China. So Zoom is also having some political turbulence, and China users see Zoom as a window through the grand Great Firewall. So Zoom has a good reputation in China, but now because of this good reputation, they are in hot waters. So let's see. Generally, we can see that George Floyd is still in the market. He has some. Still, he has some trend, and the Corona also is there. So let's see where we go in the coming days. So see you tomorrow with more headlines of tomorrow. Good.